If you're tuned in and you've never heard of Lloyd Kaufman or Troma Entertainment, crawl out of the rock you've been under since '74, bringing you the craziest and zaniest independent films from the offices in New York. You're approaching the 50-year mark, Lloyd.
Yep. Yes, and Troma, not I. I've approached it a long time ago.
Right. Troma approaching the 50-year mark. What is an experience or two that stick out in those 50 years of making independent movies?
Well,
And thank
oh,
you for being here.
well, of course, I'm very honored. Bloodfest is one of my favorite. Certainly, one of the national treasures that we have, the Bloodfest podcast. So it only took 49 years to make it happen, but I'm very grateful. I don't know what's Toxic Avenger, obviously, 39 and a half years old, and it's been reimagined by Macon Blair and the Legendary Company. Legendary brought you Pacific Rim and Godzilla versus no Zilla versus Kong and other such giantisms. So Macon Blair has made his own Toxic Avenger. I've seen it. It's absolutely the fans are going to love it. And so that sticks in my mind. I got married. I certainly can't forget that. So that sticks in my mind. The new video game, by the way, the Toxic Crusaders video game, brand new one by Retroware. Terrific. It's unbelievable. And it's we filmed the my part of it, the on camera and the voiceover. It's a real beat 'em up. It's the fans. In fact, if you wish list Steam, the wish list Steam, and you'll be given all the up to date developments of Toxic Crusaders. Very interesting. Very interesting. And terrific. The gang here have played the beta, and Troma team love it. They love it. Michael Hers can't stop playing it.
I'm
He's my
excited to play it.
partner for 50 years.
I'm very excited to play that
Where are
game.
you located, Jason? Where are you located?
I am in Michigan.
Whereabouts?
Uh, St. Clair County. I can see Sarnia in Canada from across the way.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to
go on.
personally tell you thank you for allowing my films Green Hell, J. Crimson film, The Witch, a J. Crimson film, and Crickets in the Snow, a J. Crimson film, as well as my metal band No Class Assassins, two music videos to be available on the Troma Now app. And when it comes to the app and the streaming service, how did that come to be originally? Was it a long time coming? You always wanted to have a streaming service ever since Netflix started up and started popularizing it? Is
One
that
of
where
my
it first incepted?
interesting question. Troma Now has been around for quite a long time. One of my daughters, when she was in business school, she had an intern for a company called VHX, who were developing, they were developing platforms. So she said, "Hey, you ought to go and get on, get ahead of the curve." And Troma, movies of the future has been our mantra for up until recently, when we changed it to disrupting media for 50 years. But anyway, we fell for it, and I mean, we after careful consideration, we dove in, and it was instantly successful. And then VHX got they got acquired by Vimeo, and we had Vimeo make the app. So Troma Now, it's on Roku and Google Play, and about 5 or 6 of the main whatever you call them apps. And the Troma Now app is absolutely free. Also, the 50 years of cinema, there's got to be 1,000 movies there. That's free the first month, then only $4.95 American per month. And every month we put up 5 or 6 new movies like yours, Jason. And hopefully, how long have you been on Troma now?
Since 21, I believe. For two
Well,
years.
by now, hopefully you got a little money. I hope.
Oh
You
yeah.
get any money yet? Yeah, good, good. It's growing, so that should increase as you grow with Troma now. So it's unusual to get statements from. I mean, I imagine you get statements from Netflix, but Troma now is actually it's very small, but it's profitable. I think we got the only streaming service that actually makes a profit. Certainly, Peacock and HBO Max and the other ones. I don't think I think they're just hemorrhaging a lot of money. So I guess there'll be more consolidation by the evil devil worshipping conglomerates until they steal the market away from us, which they've done with video cassette, with the DVD, and
Right.
I'm sure they'll do it with this. But we'll see how long we go. What can you do?
I love it. I think it's a great venture.
You like Troma now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's terrific. You get you get all the Troma movies, all the classics, and then you get all these new discoveries like you and James Gunn and the James Gunns of the future. Cannibal the Musical, Trey Parker's first movie. There's a lot of stuff by James Gunn when he worked here. There's all sorts of good stuff. Mother's Day, terrific film.
I loved the
Okay.
cameo in Suicide Squad that you scored.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Well, there might be something in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. I had to sign an NDA, so I can't tell you for sure, but you know, so I kind of heard that, Jim.
You heard that? A bird flew in and whispered it to us.
A vulture.
A vulture. So I'm a huge retro 80s VHS type of guy. And
Oh,
I feel like I wear my influences on my sleeve as a filmmaker. Do you feel that way about yourself as a filmmaker?
I don't know. I know I'm not that knowledgeable because I'm sort of very much involved with the Troma world, the Troma family. But certainly, how nice that the Toxic Crusaders from 1992 is being totally recreated into an amazing new video game by Retroware. Hey, how about the Toxic Avenger being reimagined? Yeah, I just spoke about that. I
I'm
mean,
excited.
who would have thought? We've never had any money to advertise. It's all word of mouth. And Rupert Murdoch and all those people, they can spend $200 million on marketing, but they cannot buy word of mouth. It's like MasterCard, priceless. So there we are. And now Sergeant Kabuki Man is getting some attention as a reimagining or remake or whatever you want to call it. Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD. So and that's doing great on. That's a big. It's suddenly gotten big on, especially on Peacock. But Troma Now and these other platforms, everybody loves. Suddenly, Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD, Terra Firma also, which when it first came out, nobody knew they couldn't figure it out. But the Blu-ray, which was out not too long ago, we can't keep it in stock. In fact, we don't have enough money to make. You have to make 1,000 or 2,000, whatever. We have to wait till we get enough money in to make more Terra Firma Blu-rays. It's exploding. We made 5,000 immediately. They're gone. By the way, if anybody wants some Troma merch, posters, T-shirts, DVDs, Blu-rays, chickens, they're all on TromaDirect.com. We don't sell fish there though. They don't last, but chickens do all right.
So
TromaDirect.com.
TromaDirect.com.
And if you want to get in touch with me, there's a fan site, LloydKaufman.com. And they do get me the messages. I do get them, maybe not always immediately, but I answer everything. My Twitter is easy, at Lloyd Kaufman. You just have to remember that Lloyd is Lloyd. Lloyd. A lot of people spell it Lyd. Why I don't know, but it's Lloyd and Kaufman, Kaufman, at Lloyd Kaufman. The other one, Instagram, is I got kicked off Instagram, so now it's Uncle Lloyd Kaufman on Instagram.
A lot of odd rules they follow, these social medias.
I think I'm the oldest person ever getting kicked off Instagram. I don't know why even.
So speaking of
ageism. I accuse Instagram of ageism. They're against old people. Anyway, go on, Jason. I'm sorry.
Early on, you attended Yale University and graduated, classmates with George W. Bush, and more interesting to me, Oliver Stone. Any interesting run-ins or stories during that time with a young Oliver Stone?
Well, he and I met in second grade, and
nice.
Our parents were very good friends. They hit it off with each other, so naturally we had a lot of play dates, and Oliver would bully me and all that stuff. But when I started to make movies, Oliver was at Yale, and he was writing a terrible. He was trying to be James Joyce, writing a novel. But my roommate Robert Edelstein and I were making movies. And Oliver would hang out, and eventually he worked on my first two failures, but he caught the bug and has become one of the great American filmmakers. So he owes it all to Uncle Lloyd. But he used to bully me when we were in camp and sleepovers, and I'd go home crying and all that kind of stuff.
Was one
I think I broke with him just about the time he became extremely successful with Midnight Express. So I'm brilliant.
So was one of your failures The Girl Who Returned?
Well, that was black and white. I don't think he was involved in that one. That was we showed it at colleges. It was about $2,000 on 16 millimeter black and white, made with a Bolex. I couldn't say that's a failure, no. But Battle of Love's Return, which got into theaters and got some pretty good reviews, I don't think we made back our $8,000 plus whatever we spent to get it into movie theaters. And then Sugar Cookies, of course, which is on Troma now, and it's very good. Oliver is in Battle of Love's Return and was part of the team. And then Sugar Cookies, he was one of the producers, and he kept saying that I should direct it, not Theodore Gershuni. But Gershuni was a bit older than we were, so and he had actually directed some movies, so we stayed with him, which was a mistake. I think his style was very slow, and he certainly I got along with him, and he was extremely talented. But the movie is Sugar Cookies, which originally was called Love/Deaths, and it was going to be our version of Vertigo, a lesbianic Vertigo, combined with Dimitrich's movie. What was it called? Oh well. Anyway, I can't remember. Burt Lancaster, Tony Curtis plays the nasty agent, dark again. But we should have kept the original title instead of trying to. It was a softcore X-rated movie. Mary Warrenov, Lynn Lowry, some of the Warhol people I met when I was in school, and we should have. I should have kept Ted's title because it was a rather slow, dark movie, and instead it became the only X-rated movie ever to lose money.
Right.
My fault. I think.
Why the name Troma? Who came up with it and why?
Well, Michael Herz, my partner of nearly 50 years, and I, we are Yale scholars, and we studied Latin, and Troma is the Latin word for excellence on celluloid. So that's how we came up with that word.
Nice. That's cool.
From the ancient, from Virgil, Book 2 of the Aeneid. It was in the Trojan horse part, I believe. Not sure. If it wasn't in that, it was in the other kind of condom. I can't remember. Not Trojan, but what's the other one? Lambskin. They make lambskin. Anyway, go on. Next question.
In 1966, you spent a year or two in the Peace Corps as a pathfinder.
Not in the Peace Corps. I don't mean to interrupt you. I was a pathfinder for the Peace Corps.
Okay.
I was actually through a organization called Crossroads Africa, which was introduced me to a man who either ran AID, which is not the disease that I didn't have. I was going to make a joke, but I did not have AIDS. Although Troma's War, we were the first to introduce AIDS to the movie-going public, and we put it right in their face, and it got a lot of criticism. But Philip Waddington, I imagine he's gone. He's probably below ground. He introduced. He was worked for AID, American International Development, and they were working with the Chadian government, to bring teachers there. So I became a teacher directly working for the Chad government for $50 a month, and which in Chad was big money. And then they also needed to get people to test the area for the Peace Corps. So I was the American ambassador to Chad, got me another $50 a month to write reports up. What diseases did I get, and things like that in Chad, just so that they could decide whether or not to send in the Peace Corps. And so I wrote up all the venereal diseases I got, and eventually they did send in the Peace Corps. But Peace Corps I never got thrown out, but the Peace Corps, I was there for a year, but the Peace Corps did get thrown out quite promptly. I don't think it was their fault. Probably something happened with the dictator. Who knows?
Gotcha. So I'm looking to turn some heads in my direction with this new film project of mine, Lilith. What were some films that shocked or surprised you and influenced you to maybe make a shocking film?
Well, again, I'm a little bit older than you, but I'm mainly influenced by so-called auteur directors. Charlie Chaplin. We used to go out together. Big influence. Certainly nothing shocking. What was shocking was that he was brought up before the House of Un-American Activities Committee and kicked out of our great nation. And that was shocking. Frankenstein, as a kid, I found that very shocking. I read the book and was disappointed in all the words in the book, but the movie was, a big deal. I can't say I mean, Warhol was, to me, kind of shocking. Lonesome Cowboys, I went to an all boys school in Yale, very bougie, as we say. So I didn't really have any. I didn't. It's not like young kids today who are able to see. We didn't have. We barely had movies in those days, and everything was pretty conservative because I was born in 1945. So the blacklist was created in the 50s, and it influenced the movies for the next 20 or 30 years. So I can't say anything shocked me. I had a fairly sophisticated upbringing, a lot of time in Europe, and I had no problem. My folks let me have as many drinks and drugs as they wanted, but it didn't really, didn't affect me at all. Maybe later on when I got into drugs more seriously, I suppose. But I don't think any of the shocking movies. I was more influenced by Sam Fuller and Howard Hawks and John Ford and Chaplin and Keaton and Stan Brackett, crazy, very nice guy, great, probably the greatest of the moving image creators of my lifetime. And by the way, Stan is in uh, um, Cannibal the Musical by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, whom we
Uh-huh.
discovered during the early days of Troma. So I don't, I didn't really. I loved the Roger Corman movies when I got older. The Poe trilogy, but I can't say I was shocked. I don't remember. Freaks was great, but I had a pretty sophisticated Europeanish upbringing, so I don't think what happened with Toxic Avenger was Michael and I were making raunchy R-rated comedies before Porky, so we had the field. We got lucky. We hit the roulette wheel for a while, and then the studios started doing the same thing, except they were using good actors and good scripts, and so we had to turn into a different lane. And Michael decided, having read some articles in the trade papers, they're owned by the studios pretty much, that the horror films were no longer commercial. So we decided to make a horror film, but this Toxic Avenger is not a horror film. It's a Cuisinart of genres, and but for some reason we decided to have a young boy get his head squashed by a wheel of an automobile, and I had nothing. I don't think we really had any reference. We just tried to make the movie crazy and surrealistic and politically important and environmentally important. And Toxie's mop was our answer to all the high-tech weapons of Spider-Man and Superman and all that. So, we kind of just we're on our own, quite frankly. Although, if you look at the Toxic Avenger, you can't help but see Frankenstein. We wanted the Frankenstein monster to live. You could see Chaplin, his blind significant other from City Lights, is Toxie's blind blonde bombshell. That's alliteration, very nice alliteration.
Yeah, that's nice.
Preston Sturges was very important in those days, to me at least. And Michael and I co-directed the Toxic Avenger, so he prevented it from being boring and pretentious. And we got lucky with a great stuntman, Scott Lever. So we had terrific original, interesting stunts. And then we got lucky with Jenny Aspinall, who created Toxie's mask, because I had wanted something much more disgusting with the pus and worms and coming out of it. And she kept coming back with this rather sympathetic character's face with big teeth, and and finally we had to shoot, and so I accepted her mask, and when we were filming, the kids would always run after Toxie. There was a tutu and a mop. They were not scared of him, and to this day, people love Toxie. The pathos and the big smile with teeth, all that stuff. Jenny Aspinall, and then the special effects. We were way ahead of our time in terms of practical effects when Toxie transforms. A lot of that stuff, those bladders and things were not. That was all new territory. So it made a big impression, big enough so that the MPAA rating board cut out about 20 minutes of the movie to get an R rating, whereas France only cut out 30 seconds and allowed 13-year-olds to see the movie. And even Canada, which is very similar to the United States, cut out only 45 seconds. So you can see how our system works. The major cartel, oligopoly, whatever you want to call it, runs the show, and they've killed off today. I think Troma is the last of the truly independent movie studios.
Lloyd, what is your favorite music genre?
Geez, I like pretty much like everything, but I guess I like things like Cole Porter and Rogers and Hammerstein, Rogers and Hart. I was raised on that stuff. But Dr. Dre, I was listening to Dr. Dre yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I love the fact that he got the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys, and it's an educational award, and every other word out of his mouth is nigger and bitch and cunt, and it's, but the songs are very love. The piano thing that he does and all that. That does one with Snoop. They're very lovely. Tupac too was great, and fortunately they killed him. But it would have been interesting to see where he would have gone. Like Kurt Cobain. It's too bad. Same with Biggie. They were well. Tupac was a star. He looked like a star. He carried himself. He would have been like a Michael T. Jordan. I
my
think he could
new
have done it all. He could have been a movie star and
right.
everything.
My new hardcore punk band, Chemical Valley Mutants, are about to start playing gigs this summer with our
Oh,
anti-fascist, death to corporate greed and corrupt government themes. As some things never change in hardcore
well,
punk, huh?
we're producing new movies by young filmmakers, so perhaps I could introduce you to Mercedes the Muse is filming. She made Divide and Conquer, wonderful feminist movie. She's brilliant. Some of her movies are on Troma now. Divide and Conquer is going to go on in May. It's terrific, real feminism. And Brandon Bassam is filming Bring on the Dead. He's going to want to score it or have songs in it. And also, we have an anti-hunting movie called that are produced by a whole team of people who call themselves the Shithouse Productions. They worked on hashtag Shakespeare Shitstorm, and they are part of the Troma family, and they're almost finished with the fine cut of Curse of the Weird Deer. So they're going to start looking for music. So I could introduce you to those directors, and again, I believe in the auteur theory of filmmaking. So it's up to the director. So the director's event.
What are some things that you got going on this summer? More conventions, more screenings? When is Shakespeare's Shitstorm going to be available?
Well, it's playing in some theaters, very few, unfortunately, but it's still playing in theaters here and there. And the Blu-ray is getting. I'm not sure. We're hoping we can have it ready to bring out at Christmas, but I'm not too optimistic about that. But the good news is the amazing 4TA in 4K, the Toxic Avenger in 4K, August 29th. Beautiful, beautiful. And then the amazing new Toxic Crusaders video game by Retroware. I'm not sure when that's coming out.
Very
And
excited about that.
and of course the Toxic Avenger reimagining by Macon Blair. He made it. He made Toxie his own. Stars Peter Dinklage
Yeah,
and Elijah Wood and Kevin Bacon and some other stars. It's Toxerific, and so far the focus groups love it. And I'm not. I don't. Again, I don't know what the plans are to release it, but I do know that Legendary has made Pacific Rim and Zilla versus Kong and a bunch of big movies. So
yeah, they did
Pikachu,
the Dark Knight
Pikachu.
trilogy too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Christian Bale ones. Yeah, good
They
stuff.
also they did the first one with the one, I think, Keanu Reeves.
With Keanu Reeves?
Yeah. Well, now somebody else, they don't have it anymore. They did the first one. It's a very good movies. I just can never remember the name.
It's not
You,
the
you
Ronin.
know it. No.
Not
It's
the 46
better.
Ronin or 47 Ronin.
No, it's there's a whole series of them. Anyway,
I heard he's making a Constantine too. That should be exciting.
oh, good.
And did you
Anyway,
hear about
hmm?
speaking of controversy, did you hear that Jerry Springer passed away today?
No, I didn't. Well,
Yeah, rest in peace, king of TV controversy, Jerry Springer passed away today.
geez. Well, I won't make any puns about that. It's just low-hanging fruit. Uh, well, how old was the guy?
He was 79, I believe, and he had cancer.
Oh well, oh well, sorry. And he was mayor of Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's very distinguished. Um, Troma has a huge, bizarrely huge following in Cincinnati. I have no idea why, but it's like a cancer hotspot, huge. But what was I going to say? What the hell is the name of that? Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. But so there's a lot of Troma stuff coming up, and hopefully I can find some skateboarders who have a lot of millions of followers and would like to do a movie with skateboarding. So
nice.
we have to find we got to find the stars who might like Troma, because obviously we can't pay them what they should get.
Right. Well, I can't wait for you guys to check out my newest movie, Lilith, a J. Crimson.
Yeah, when will that be ready, Lilith?
Me and Justin are working on it, picking away at it, taking out
Which Justin? I'm sorry, which Justin?
Justin Squires of Dark Forest Media.
Yeah, okay, because there was a lot of Justin Martell produced #Shakespeare Shitstorm, one of the producers. And
Right.
then Justin Silverman is the creative director of Retroware, and there's quite a number of Justins in our world. So well, please give Justin our best regards from the Troma team. And
Excellent.
Lilith sounds exciting.
Yeah, I wanted to jam pack a bunch of crazy shit in this movie, and
Good.
we're working with Adobe Premiere and some After Effects program, and I think it's going to turn out really well. I'm putting my heart and soul into it, and it's been 3 years. We've been working on it. So yeah, I can't wait for you guys to check it out. And
Yeah. Well, if we can help, let us know.
excellent. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being on the Crimson Cult podcast today. Mad scientist of pop culture, Lloyd Kaufman of Troma Entertainment. Anything you'd like to say to all the Troma-ites?
Well, I'm very grateful to Troma fans who've taken care of Troma and me for all these years. Certainly, the Troma fans are the secret sauce that have enabled Troma to be successful for nigh on 50 years. And people like you, Jason, and wish you the best with Lilith. I'm sure it's great, and even love to see it. Maybe we can help you finish it. You never know.
Thank you very much, Lloyd.
Best wishes and good luck. Best to
Thank you.
everybody in Michigan, and thank you. Bye.